Shalom Israel, first and foremost, I do want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem El Shaddai B'Shem Kakadash, the born of the apostles, and elsewhere Millstone for teaching us his truth, peace, and blessings. To the whole of Israel, Yahweh is the name of the infant Hebrew, Ba'Shem is the name, and Yahweh Shai is the name of the begotten Son. Back in our lesson, and today we're going to go into another MOTB update. As you've seen, things are progressively moving forward, dealing with the digital ID, which is another stepping stone towards implementation of this MOTB, which is going to be the RFID CHIP. And you're seeing the infrastructure and foundation being laid out right before your very eyes. So I do want to play this video real quick from the brother's channel, Arrows of the Nation. Got a couple of scriptures to further, expound that point. And the Lord's blessing me to find this point, so let's dive into it.
What's up, America? Your digital ID brought to you by the World Economic Forum. So the World Economic Forum has now announced a digital ID for everybody in the world. And this digital ID would be used to track everything you do online, get a job, travel the world, and even your healthcare. Yeah, what could possibly go right? Let's take...
And there you go. You see literally pretty much everything moving towards a digitized system. Dealing with stores, more self-checkout aisles. For example, Costco now pushing towards a digitized membership system, which before they would have a membership program where I'm pretty sure you had a physical card, but now you see it moving towards digital or digitized. Seeing a lot of these venues are no longer accepting cash, so you're seeing the steps that are being taken.
Look at what the World Economic Forum says about digital ID from the World Economic Forum's own website. And when you see this, holy fuck, we're all screwed. So this is from the World Economic Forum's own website on their digital ID that they want to implement throughout the world. Let's take a look at all the facets of the digital ID and what they want to...
So pretty much, soft launching, this MOTB, getting you ready for, what it's going to be like once in conditioning and preparing you for it.
Bestow upon the population of the world. First of all, financial services, digital IDs to open bank accounts and carry out online financial transactions, followed by food and sustainability for farmers and consumers to verify produce and to enhance the value and traceability of supply chains. Don't forget travel and mobility. You can use your digital ID to book trips and go through borders.
Back in 2020, you had green passes you need to have to enter a plane. Show proof verification that you have, that juice, that concoction, Very soon, you're going to need to have this MOTB.
I'm sure you'll have to have it at some point. Here you go, humanitarian response. Access services to demonstrate qualifications to work in a foreign country. So I guess borders are gone with it when it comes to work. E-commerce, there's your digital ID to shop and conduct business transactions and payments online. Here's a fun one, social media platforms. To use your digital ID for social interactions to access third...
And there you go. That's another major one that they're most definitely going to do. Is lock the internet, behind this MOTB if you want to access it. You need to have that certain something, so that's why it's important to get this truth while you still can.
Party services that rely on social...
And that's why you're going to have many people's, hands be forced, per se. Or I should really say, a choice will have to be made.
Media logins. So a digital ID to get online, so they can track every fucking word you say.
And this is clearly going to show you won't be able to live a so-called normal life without that MOTB. And for example, you've seen back when 2020 dealing with those lockdowns that were in place and people that took the juice and all that and saw people that didn't take it and how they looked at you like you were crazy, selfish and all these various things. Matter of fact, people also pushed for people that didn't take it to be jailed, to be fined. I believe you had this one football player at one point, said, those that are against it pretty much, or those that didn't take it or don't have it, should be fined or jailed, whatever the case was. And look what ended up happening to him. He got taken out. As we've seen various other people been taken out from it. The various complications that came from taking that certain something. And we warned you to spend per Yahweh Shemshah to especially stay away from that thing, as we're doing now with this MOTB. And what we've been doing, starting with the apostles and the elders down over that great millstone. But let's kick it off with a couple scriptures. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. And it says, "Lest Satan should get advantage of us, for we are ignorant of his device." And we ultimately see, the build-up This being a stepping stone, I keep mispronouncing that, towards implementation of this beast system. And I always like to, bring up a point, how the MOTB is pretty much going to be that, universal remote. How everything is going to go through that. This is how you have a universal remote that pretty much, goes, to everything in your house, This is how this MOTB is going to go through everything. To travel, you need to have it. To access the internet, you need to have it. To buy things, you're going to need to have it. To go to your job, guess what? You need to have it. And that's what they also did with the juice. These in certain locations, certain jobs required it. And also some even incentivized it. That's what I remember. They had a advertisement, or it was like a kind of I guess a smaller billboard. They put in the ground. I guess a sign, what you call it. But they had on there were giving out pretty much free money if you went out and took the concoction. So there's various examples of what's to come dealing with this MOTB. And that was just a trial run for what's to come. So 2 Corinthians 2:11, one more time. Let Satan seek vengeance, for we are not ignorant of his devices. We see right through it. We see the buildup. We see the conditioning. We see the infrastructure that's being laid out. Schools now requiring, IDs now. We made a lesson a while back where they have lockers now that you need to, scan, your school ID to be able to open it. So everything is moving towards a digitized system, By the point, dealing with a lot of stores, implementing more self-checkout dials. You're seeing, Amazon One. I'm trying to remember exactly what it's called. Where you're able to buy and pay things by the way of scanning your palm. Various examples of that in China, which is soon to come over here to Babylon the Great, aka America, where you're able to just scan your face to buy things, to access a part of an area. I have a short on my channel. We have this one motorbike scanned his face to pretty much access a different part of the park, or the case was. But the Revelation 13:16-17, and it says, and he called to both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. That word mark in the Greek goes into the word charagma, which then goes into the word etch, scratch, when you say physical mark. As a cut to all these other Israelite camps pushing that the MOTB is spiritual, that it's sin itself, which is just completely off and not what the scriptures say. Verse 17, that no man might buy or sell. So how are you going to buy and sell with sin? Make it make sense. And there's also various other bugged out things that they say. Just it doesn't add up. How are you going to buy and sell with John 3:16? It's just bugged out. But verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, so if he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, for reason you won't be able to be so called without it. That's why you're gonna have a lot of these Israelites end up buckling under that pressure, bending that knee, giving in. Our faith is gonna be tried, we're gonna be tested. Your job's gonna be online, and really, ultimately, your life is gonna be on the line. It's Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, but you're going to have a lot of Israelites out here choose, which actually I'll save that point for the other couple of scriptures. But Isaiah chapter 10 verse 1, it says, woe unto them that decree and write the decrees, and that write grievances which they have prescribed, going to these draconian-like laws. Where draconian is the harsh, strict, severe, going to these decrees that they're going to be pushing out. Curfews, holding checkpoints, which is another example they did back in 2020. When all that was happening, held those checkpoints to where you need to show proof of verification that you've been tested, that you're not positive, for the what. So matter when it comes to this MOTB, further going back to those examples, people were fined, even jailed for not wearing a mask, But the Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10, it says, fear none of those things thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast you into prison, that you may be tried. So, we're going to be faced with, persecution, man. made the point earlier with that when football players pushing for people to be fined and even jailed over that juice of not taking it, you know? But that you may be tried, shall tribulation 10 days, go a certain period of time, be thou faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. Revelation 3:10, and it says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. What's the hour of temptation? It'll be mainly when an MOTB is presented in front of us. And that says, which shall come upon all the world to try them and dwell upon it. So everyone to be faced with that choice, man. And only one choice is correct. And you're going to have many people out here, especially dealing with Jake, thinking they chose so-called life, taking that MOTB. And in reality, they chose death. And those that chose so-called death by denying this beast system, by standing stiffly and boldly for the Lord, you're not taking that charagma, they chose life. So those that endure remain faithful, Lord gives us the strength and the spirit in order to endure these coming times, as well as to deny that charagma, that MOTB. Because there are going to be, temptations. Your own family may be, pushed against you. Your own woman may go against you, urging and pushing you to take it. Because what if your job's going to be online and various other things? But this is where our faith and our trust in Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is going to come into play. And you can get throughout various scriptures of the great things the Lord can do for those that endure. What do you think the Lord would reward those that are remaining faithful, those that are standing stiffly and boldly for Him in the midst of a ungodly and an unbelieving world? You get in the scripture how the Lord is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him. I'm paraphrasing. How the Lord has not forsaken, His righteous. So the Lord is going to take well care of His elect, man. Another scripture in 2nd Ezra, how the elect are going to have abundance, being well kept. My servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. The elect are going to be well off, man. And we hope and pray that we're of that hopeful elect Lord's will. Isaiah 10:20. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel, and such as are escaped to the house of Jacob, shall no more again stay upon him that smote them. So very soon we're no longer going to be relying upon this devil, man, especially once this MOTB is mandated and heavily pushed out. That's when we're going to fully take a step back, man. Because right now we still got to do what we got to do, adapt. But soon it's going to come to a point where we're going to be unable to, because you're going to need to have that MOTB if you want to live a so-called normal life. And taking the MOTB, it goes against the ways of Yahweh Bashim Shah. You are pretty much choosing, Esau Edom over the Lord. You're making Esau Edom your God. But it says, shall no more again stay upon them that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. Habakkuk 2:3, and that's the closing scripture. Could also got Revelation 14 and 9-10 going to the judgment, which is going to the consequences of taking that MOTB. And if you do take it, you will be destroyed. Plainly put. Matter of fact, you got front row tickets to the ultimate fireworks show. We're just gonna be thermal destruction, man. That's not front row seats you want. But Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end shall speak and not lie. They would tarry, wait for it, because surely come, it will not tarry, meaning it will not delay. These things will happen and will come to pass. And that vision is speaking of those signs, those prophecies, and we're in those appointed times. So that's the point right there. Just a quick lesson to the spirit, going to another MOTB update as we're seeing things progressively picking up regarding that, which is another end time, a heavy end time prophecy, in fact. So I want to emphasize that. And just going to show we're at the end of this place, man. And especially, given the warning as, we're to do. So, that's the point. Those that find it, give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Al Shabbat, Shem, Kadash, and Shalom. See you next one, Lord's will.